Okay, so welcome everybody. We have today Elizabeth Cabral from Rio de Janeiro, the wonderful beautiful
Well,
city of Rio. Elizabeth is our main contact. She's the organizer of Laksharchana in Brazil. She's our main contact for Latin America, and she's a lovely lady. And welcome, Elizabeth, to Laksharchana interviews. Sairam.
Seram.
Sairam. So, Elizabeth, I'm just going to tell everybody that what year was it, Elizabeth, that Uncle went to Brazil? Do you remember? I can't remember. I think, was it
Yes, it
2013?
was 3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago, so it would have been
Yes, three
2013,
years
yeah?
ago.
So when
Yes.
Uncle went in 2013 to Brazil, it was a big thing. You know, it was the
Yeah.
first time he'd gone to Latin America. It was a big experience. So, but before then, there was a lot going on. So, Elizabeth, can you start by telling us the story before Uncle went to Brazil?
Look, one thing that I remember now is that he had to do the dialysis here. And I went to the hospital to see how he could do there. And when I told the nurse that he would do two in 1 week, and then he was coming from England and then going back to England, she told me, "Is it true that he does it every week?" I said, "Yes." And then she said, "I think you should write a book about this gentleman because it would be wonderful for people to know how that this is possible." Because he said people get so weak when they do dialysis, and how he has this energy.
Yeah, to
I
travel the
couldn't,
world.
yes, and I was very, aware of the responsibility to bring him here,
Yes,
and
it
how
was.
wonderful
Yes,
it
you're right. It
was.
was a big
It
responsibility.
was a big thing, a big responsibility. And then myself, I got weak. I got sick,
Yes, you
and
got
then
sick.
I was just weak. I was just weak. Doctors couldn't say you have this, you have that. I don't know. Something strange happened, and then
Yes.
I didn't have the energy to call people, to do the whole thing. So I called you and I said, Anisi, I think myself I am not in a good health, and it's better to delay it, to postpone it.
Yeah, so
And
so there was that time where we were thinking of postponing it because you weren't well. We were worried about dialysis in Brazil, and there were many things against this trip, weren't they, Elizabeth? I think there was one other problem with this trip, right?
and I told we are not so many people, so we couldn't buy the ticket or talk about the ticket. I mean, everything is at the beginning. We are not in a mature group.
Yeah, so there weren't really many people, and the flights to Brazil from London are not cheap. They're
No.
quite expensive, and we needed the both of us to go because we couldn't send Uncle alone. So it was a lot of money to go to Brazil, and there weren't many people that were going to come.
Yeah.
So this was
Yes.
a big issue. How do we get the money? So what happened then, Elizabeth?
And then I told you that it would be better to postpone it. And you told Uncle that we couldn't afford to buy the tickets, that we hadn't meet together. And he understood that we couldn't buy it. And then before going to bed, he prayed to Swami and he said, "Oh, Swami, I want to go to Brazil. I want to do your work there. But they are very poor. They can't buy the tickets. So I can't go."
Yes, yes,
And then
yes.
he
That
went
was.
to bed. And then he had a wonderful dream with Swami. Swami himself came to his dream, and it was wonderful.
Yes, I remember it very well. That the day after, Elizabeth, he rang me very early in the morning. And normally, when he rings me very early, very early in the morning, I know he's had a dream with Baba because he rings me like 7 o'clock in the morning. And he's really, really excited. And this time he was very excited. Do you want to tell us about the dream, Elizabeth?
And I remember that I told my husband, I can't say no to Swami. I can't say no, but I feel we are not in a good mood to do it. So then, well, the dream was that Swami came to Uncle's dream and he said, I want you to go to Brazil. I have very good devotees there. They are good people. You can go there, don't fear. You know, because people were saying that Brazil is violent, is dangerous, and also his family was concerned about it. And then Swami, Uncle said, but they can't buy the ticket. And then Sai Baba said, myself, I'll buy the ticket. And then he said, don't worry, before Wednesday, you'll have the tickets. And he told him that you should also go. You should also come. And he said, don't worry, before Wednesday, you'll have the tickets and you go there, don't fear, everything will be all right. My devotees are very good, I want to go. So in the morning, Uncle told his daughter, I don't know, because I had a dream with Swami. And he said, I will go before Wednesday. I will have the tickets. But how? How Swami will buy the tickets? He said, how Swami will give me the tickets? I don't understand. And then he received a call. You remember?
Yes.
The phone rang.
Yes.
And it was a friend of him saying that he had to tell him. And he said that, well, it's a long story, but short. He said that he owed some money to Sai Baba because he has some money with him that he didn't take to India because he couldn't travel anymore. And he said that there in India, in the bank, that he would go and bring this money to do some social service. So Swami came in the dream of this person who was in England. It was a Hindu. And he said, you owe me some money. Please give this money to Vadgama. And he will use it to buy the tickets to Brazil.
That's right. That's the story. You remember the story very well, Elizabeth. Yes. Do you know, I remember too.
Yes. And then this man told Uncle, you can call this travel agency. You have 2 tickets there. You can go when you want. The tickets are open and you can go to Brazil.
Yes. Yes, that's right. And I remember when he called me very early the morning, it was the morning after he had the dream. He said to me, we're going to have the money and you have to come to Brazil. And I was half asleep. And I remember saying to Uncle, yeah, whatever, yeah. I didn't believe him. And then I didn't believe him at all. You know, I thought there was a possibility, but it was so far-fetched because it was so much money.
And this man, he died very soon, I think the next week. So Swami helped him not to die with a debt, you know.
Yeah, he helped. Yeah, Papa helped him to die without the debt. Yes, that's true. Papa helped him to die without.
No, incredible. And then you called me and you said, Elizabeth, Sai Baba want to go. We can go now. And I said, let me rest a little bit and recover myself. And in Lithuania, I think, they were asking you to go. And you said, okay, so we are going to Lithuania now, and in October, we can go. And then I had time to organize.
Yes, I remember
And
now.
then you
I'd
came.
forgotten about
Remember?
that we went to Lithuania first, and then after
Yes.
Lithuania we came to see you.
You
Correct.
told me
Yes.
Lithuania is asking. So if
Yes.
it's possible, we go there because they are asking now. And I said, wonderful, you go to Lithuania. And then you come.
To Brazil. Yeah.
And also Graziella, you know Graziella from Italia, from
Yes. So,
Italy.
yes. Also, Graciela. Yes, because we didn't come alone, right? We came. I flew from London with Uncle, and then tell us
No,
about who came from Italy, because we had Italians joined us too. It was Graciela.
Graziella, who began everything, who told me first about the Laksharchana,
Yeah.
and then Isa from Switzerland, and Anna from Italy.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. So
Anna, the
yeah.
artist.
Yes, Anna.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in fact, we had two ladies from Italy, and well, actually, one from Italy, from Milan, and two from Locarno in Switzerland. Actually came with us
Yes.
they flew from, I think they flew from Italy or Switzerland, and then they met us in Rio de Janeiro, and we all went. So Baba sent not two of us but five of us to Brazil.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
That was incredible. So
It was
Elizabeth, can,
incredible.
can you tell us a little bit about the experience in Brazil when Uncle got to eventually? So we got the tickets. I remember having the tickets. I
Yes.
remember even having to order the vegetarian food on the flight. And then we arrived in Rio de Janeiro. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience when Uncle arrived in Rio de Janeiro?
The first thing I remember is that I rent a car. I called and I did a reservation by my credit card. So when I went to the airport and I wanted to have the key, they asked me, who else will drive? Because you remember that we were going to Visconde de Mauá in the mountains.
Yeah, so let me, because you went faint then, let me just
So
repeat
I
what you
told
said.
his,
Wait a minute, Elizabeth, because you went faint. So what Elizabeth said there, that when she went to get the rental car, they asked her who the second driver was going to be. And we needed a second driver because after Rio de Janeiro, we was heading off to the mountains. So what happened then, Elizabeth?
and then they asked his identity card, my husband's identity card, you know.
Yes.
And he didn't, because he didn't know that he had to bring, he forgot to bring to the airport his card,
Identity card, yeah.
his identity card. So they said, it's impossible, you have to drive alone. And it was a whole story about that only me, I could drive the car. So after I went with Isa from Switzerland, you know,
Yeah.
Isa. And both of us, we went to get the car. And you and Roberto, my husband, and Uncle, you came first with Anna in another car. And I went with her. When we went to get the car, it was an automatic car. How can I say that in English?
Yeah, yes, automatic car, yes.
Automatic car. And I don't know how to drive it. And I don't know. So I looked the car and I said, but I didn't ask for this car. No, we just have it. It has to be it. It's the only car we have now. It was very late at night. I wanted a dramatic car because I know how to drive it, but not automatic. And I said, oh my God, Uncle is there. He's in the road. What will I do? And then Isa said, I know how to drive. I can drive it because my car is like that. And I said, do you have a documentation? No, I haven't bring it. And the man in the garage, he said, it's okay, go on, take the car. And then he said, you go himself, he said. And I said, I can't believe that she's from Switzerland. She doesn't know how to drive in Brazil, you know. And they are saying that she has to drive it. And he said, okay, don't worry, go, here's the key, go. And we came, you know.
That was amazing. That was amazing because Ilse, who's a lady from, Ilse's from Switzerland, which you can imagine driving in Switzerland and driving in Rio de Janeiro is like night and day. And yet she just took the car and drove with no problem in Brazil. It was amazing. Amazing.
And she was running when we went to Mauá, and Roberto said, Serán. And she was there. No.
Because when we left Rio...
I'm doing the Gayatris, yes. And, you know, she took the car, and the car was her car, you know.
Yeah, she was a fantastic driver. Baba sent her all the way from Switzerland to be our driver because she was a fabulous driver. She was almost like a Formula One driver. Yeah, so that was a beautiful story of Ilse driving us, the Swiss lady driving us in Rio de Janeiro and going to the mountains. So Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about when we got the car, we arrived to your house, and then tell us a little bit about what happened in your house.
You know, before I left to the airport, I saw everything in Uncle's room, everything was okay. You know, I closed the door and we left the house. When we arrived, that I showed him his room, it was plenty of vibhuti. You know, there was vibhuti in the chair, in the room's chair, vibhuti in Baba's photo. It was so beautiful, so much vibhuti. It was so, you know, we were just, because just before I left, there was nothing in the room. And then we arrived, Swami was there. His presence was there. We felt he's happy.
Yeah, he was happy. What I found interesting in Brazil is how quickly the vibhuti came. Because literally, the uncle came through the door, and in minutes, the vibhuti started to appear in your house. It was very, very fast.
Yes, and he was so happy. And he said, oh, this is a nice house. I'm so happy here. People say it's dangerous. What dangerous? He was so happy, you know. And in the morning, at 4 o'clock in the morning, Graziella, she was downstairs. When she woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she said that in Swami's chair downstairs, where people do the Laksharchana, she saw the vibhuti downstairs, and it was plenty of vibhuti also downstairs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened during the night. I remember there was manifestations during the night.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a beautiful, and also the event was very interesting for me because what I loved about your event in Rio, Elizabeth, was how relaxed everybody was. You know, because in Europe, everybody has everything planned weeks ahead, and everything's super planned. And in Brazil, it was very relaxed. Like people arrive, they help put the rice together. It was brilliant. It was like last minute. Remember, last minute, your husband went to buy the rice. It was fantastic, and it just came. The whole thing was perfect. Laksharchana was perfect, last minute perfection. I think in a true Brazilian style. Can you tell us?
You know why? Because my house is not in the center of the city. It's 40 minutes from the center, and I felt that everybody wanted to help and to participate, but they couldn't come and stay and then go back and come again. Everyone is very busy. We have such a traffic in the street. So they preferred to come earlier and do the same day and stay here. So they began to arrive after lunch, and then they began to help and do everything. And it was very beautiful because it was really a service day,
Yes,
They
everybody
observed.
was involved.
Yes, it was. And then people began to come. They brought photos. And, in Rio and in Mauá, everyone, all the people who brought photos, all the photos manifested Vibhuti.
It's amazing. That's the first time I've ever happened where every single photo from a participant has got Vibhuti during the night.
Yes,
That
it
is
was such.
incredible. It's incredible, really. Absolutely. We were
And
about, how many people were we in Rio? We were about 50 people?
more, we were about 70 people.
70 people in your house. Yeah. Incredible. Absolutely beautiful. For everybody, Elizabeth lives in a house that is on a river. So you have to go on a boat to get to a house, which is not what you imagine in Rio de Janeiro. When you're in her house, you think you're in the forest. So it's a very different environment. But and also, Elizabeth, can you tell us about when we left Rio de Janeiro? And oh no, tell us when Uncle, because maybe you don't know, but let me tell them because you were preparing like Sharshana. When Elizabeth was preparing like Sharshana, her husband took Uncle to visit Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and we went to the Sugarloaf and we went to see some of the beaches. I can't remember which one. I think at Ipanema we saw. And so we had a quick tour, but Uncle went right up to the Sugarloaf, and from the top of the Sugarloaf you can see the whole of Rio de Janeiro. And there are some pictures of Uncle with a big coconut. It's on a beach in Rio de Janeiro drinking his coconut. So that was what Uncle did while you were preparing the Laksharchana, which was really nice for him to be able to visit Rio de Janeiro. I think he was very happy that he saw Rio de Janeiro. Very grateful to your husband for showing him Rio de Janeiro. But can you tell us what happened when we left Rio?
I remember that in the morning, Uncle was in the garden, and Swami's chair was here inside the house, and then Uncle was he was in a state of bliss, and he was looking, and I said, "What's happening?" And he said, "I can see Swami's hand. I can see him." He was so in a state of bliss. He said, "I feel his presence. He's here." In his subtle body, he was here. And Uncle was like, it was very beautiful. And then we all felt this presence. And then Graciela was cleaning the dishes and everything. When we finished, we said, "Swami, we have to go. Bye-bye. We have to go to the mountains. Come with us." And, it was such a great feeling we all were feeling devotion. It was very beautiful.
Yeah, it was very beautiful. So off we went to the mountains. So I just want to tell everybody, Elizabeth, that Elizabeth has a place up in the mountains between Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, which is the most amazing place I've ever seen. It's beautiful forest. It's up in the mountains. It's heaven. It's so unpolluted. It's something in Europe we can't even imagine. In Europe, I don't think we have anything like that still left. So it was, for us, it was a dream to be, it was like being in paradise, Elizabeth, your place in the mountains.
And seriously, I can't imagine this.
Yes, for a European, your place in the mountains is like paradise. It has coconut trees. The only problem with the snakes that we never saw, but that Graciela kept telling us about the snakes. But we never saw a snake. So we went to the mountains. It was a 4-hour drive driven by the lovely Ilse from Switzerland, who was our super duper driver. And it was incredible. The journey, the beauty of the vegetation in Brazil was just astonishing. But tell us a little bit about that trip to the mountains, because it was a very, very special time.
Why? I mean...
maybe because for us, for us it was very special. I think for us it was being in this beautiful environment. And also I mean, I think it was the only time in the whole of my time with Uncle where I've seen Vibhuti manifest outside.
Oh, yes.
I've never seen Vibhuti manifest outside. It's always been indoors, never outside. And I think in the mountains was the first time it happened outside. So outdoors.
Yes, we have it's a meditation place where we do bhajans or where we meditate. It's in bamboo.
Yes, it's made of bamboo.
It's made in bamboo and it's very beautiful indeed. There is no cement in it. It's, glass and bamboo, glass and bamboo. And it's very beautiful. And before, when you arrived at night, we sang bhajans and we did the prasad.
Say that again. We've lost you there. What did you say? What did we do?
So in the morning, when we went before we did the prasadam.
Yeah.
We did together, everyone singing Gayatri and bhajans. We did everything the previous night.
Yes.
Because we arrived at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Then we met people who were there and we sang and we did the prasadam. Then we got to bed. We went to bed, and in the morning, when we went to the temple, the place in bamboo where we would do the Laksharchana, before the temple we have stones,
steps. There's steps, huh?
Steps and a little in front of it, plenty of stones. Little stones. And over the stones, on the stones, there were vibhuti.
Ah, that's
like if Swami had walked,
yes,
then we could see his feet, vibhuti like his feet walking and arriving to the temple. It was like if he had walked inside and left vibhuti for us.
Yes, it was amazing. And I remember I think I went with Graciela. I think it was with Graciela. We went to the temple because we had to set up really. And I remember we got just outside the temple and we saw the vibhuti outside. I couldn't believe it. And then inside the temple, there was vibhuti all over the pictures. It was just incredible.
Wow. We could see the vibhuti coming. We were singing, and the vibhuti was manifesting.
Yes, manifesting. Yes, as you were singing.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Amazing.
It was amazing. The guy who was in his singing in his chair, there was vibhuti in his chair.
No, in the feet of his chair. Oh.
In the feet of his chair.
Oh, it's beautiful. I do see there's things I don't see, Elizabeth, because I'm so busy looking after Uncle and organizing. There's things I don't see. I didn't see the fact that there was vibhuti on his chair. That is so beautiful.
Yes, incredible. And then we had so many vibhuti over the table, inside the house, over in Uncle's room, in the dining room, wherever there were Swami's photos, there was vibhuti. So I had to take all this vibhuti because after 1 month, dust comes, in the air. So yes. I had to. Now all the vibhuti I got on boxes.
Oh, so all the vibhuti is gone in boxes, yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
But we can see in the photos, and it's very beautiful. It was really a blessed moment.
Yes, very blessed moment. Yes, absolutely.
Very blessed moment. And everyone who came was impressed and happy. It was a great moment. Also,
Yes. A big blessing from Swami to send uncle to Brazil.
Big
Has it?
blessing.
Yeah. I feel
Yes.
very blessed, Elizabeth, to have been part of it. I think the experience of being with you Brazilian devotees was wonderful. And the presence of Baba in nature was incredible, because your place in the mountains is all natural, and to be with Baba is in the nature was incredible, because you could feel his presence there.
And also, Uncle could talk. He could talk about his life. He could talk about his experiences with Swami. You know, we had a whole day with him, so it was wonderful to hear his stories and to his simplicity, his heart touched many people. You know, people. There were some people who came just to because I called them. They didn't. They are not Swami devotees. They wanted to experience, to feel, and they were touched by Yanko. And he said, "He's such a sincere person, you know." And
Yes.
it was very beautiful to feel this.
Mm.
And his stories are very touching.
Yes, his stories, yes, very entertaining as well. His stories, yes, absolutely. So anyway,
And I remember that when you left, it
yeah,
was like a family. We were all like a family, you know.
yeah,
We
we
were
were like
so
Sai
happy.
family.
Yes,
Yes,
it
like the Sai
was.
family. It was beautiful. It was a very beautiful, unique experience, the Brazil experience. So, Elizabeth, I want to thank you from everybody at Laksharchana for sharing these very special moments in your life with us. And yes, thank you very much. And I'm sure we will continue to see Brazil join online as we do. We love to see you always, and
Yeah.
it's wonderful. Thank you so much,
And
Sairam.
it was, thank you very much, dear.